Alright, guys. So, I have like a really irrational fear of losing my job. It's a $170,000 paying job when I was making my peak basically. So, I was working full time as a pharmacy manager a few years ago. And yeah, it was probably like the best I've ever done financially as a W 2 worker. And nowadays, I work part time, so I cover shifts mainly when people are sick or if they need a day off. And I still have an irrational fear of getting like fired, even though like my business does way better than what this job will ever pay me, even if I went up the corporate ladder. Like I think I made like $450,000, like in like a year and a quarter, and I don't think I'm gonna run out of money. The business has been doing really well, and I'm still scared, and I don't really know why. And I wonder if other people feel this too, like if there's like some sort of emotional attachment to their job or just like growing up. We weren't a very rich family. We were always told, get a good job, um, work hard, save your money, don't overspend. Now I spend a lot of money mainly on my business and trying to make it grow. And I also pay for speed mainly and quality and being able to do all those things in volume. So, but at the end of the day, there's always this thing in the back of my mind, and again, it's just not sure if it's like how I was raised, but I'm scared of losing my W 2 job or like getting fired from it, even though I work like maybe once or twice per month. And I think it's really like it doesn't make sense to me still. I was like, oh, I make maybe about $1,000 per month from this, and then my business brings in around $30,000 every single month, and I'm still just like I don't feel good about it. And maybe that's what like most entrepreneurs have to walk through to feel better, or just it's like there's this phrase that they say it's like ripping off the band-aid. Maybe that's just what I have to do, but it's just like there's so many things I still love about the W2 work. The only thing I really didn't like that was really egging at me was the fact that I had to be there based off someone else's schedule, and I'm just not personally a good planner. There's nothing against like people who love like a good schedule, love going at a certain time, knowing clearly when they're off, versus like me. Like I can technically have a problem that needs to be solved immediately with my business, and I need to be there. Luckily, I have a larger team because again, I like to spend my money on having really good partners and really good teams, so I don't have to be the one that's actually there, and I can set clear guidelines like, hey, I only work from 6 in the morning till 5 o'clock or something, or 6 a.m. till noon today because I'm going to be spending time with my family. Or I can just call the day off if I really want to. And I personally like that type of lifestyle. And it works quite well for me. So I don't know why I feel this way still. If anyone's like an entrepreneur or like business owner have gone past this, let me know like what you guys did. Maybe it's just again like ripping off the band. There's also this book I read called oh gosh, what is it called? It's from Bigger Pockets. It's essentially about like how you will transition from W2 work to business owner, and like it's like being on a trapeze where you have to like kind of just let go eventually one time. Like otherwise you're just holding on the same rope, swinging back and forth, not doing anything, and eventually you just come to a standstill and you don't do anything. And if you're just standing hanging on the trapeze pole, you're gonna get tired and eventually you're just gonna let go and collapse, and things aren't gonna be good. Versus like when you're going on trapeze, you're supposed to let go, and once you let go, you grab the next bar. Things get better. Sure, you might miss, you might fail, but all you do is climb back up and do it again. Quitter's Manifesto. There it is. Yeah, so maybe I need to just take that into account. But so far, like, yeah, it's been fine. But I'm always like worried that like there will be some shame or something, like if I ever got fired from my job too. Hopefully not. Hopefully like it's like a smooth thing where they're just like, hey, we don't need you anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling to describe sometimes. Like I don't need it, but I really love my coworkers. I really love learning about medicine in general. What I don't mainly like is just the schedule, the time schedule, like being at someone's beck and call. I like my freedom, and I like being the person that tells me when and where to go places. Um, so that's probably like how I've been feeling lately, and just thought I'd share with people. And I honestly don't think like um, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just something wrong with me maybe. Like I don't think $170,000 is a lot in California, and I don't think it's enough for most people to live the way they really want to live. Because if you ever gone to a restaurant and like your eyes like drag to the first thing you look at is the price, I honestly don't think you're living a very fun life. It's like, oh, you have to be limited pretty much by whatever you can afford there. And I don't really like that feeling, especially when I'm on vacation and stuff. I'm hoping people like are honest and are charging fair prices, obviously. But when the amount I'm transacting, like if I'm not making enough money to like actually be able to afford it and like actually enjoy my meal without being like, dang, that was $100, which is pretty much like how much meals are in San Diego now. If you have a family of 4, and you guys want to eat at a normal like little Italian restaurant, and you have a 13, 14-year-old, eat a lot, you and your spouse, $25 per meal easily. If you guys want to get drinks, good luck. Could easily go up to $150, and now tips are like suggested at like 25%. It's crazy. So imagine you want to go out with your family, I don't know, once a week. That sounds relatively reasonable, right? That's $200 per week. It ends up being $800 per month. 800 times 12. You can kind of do the math. It's like $10,000 just for eating out. And then the rest of the week, you have supplemental groceries, which don't even get me started on that. Like, like what I used to spend like $20 and get a bunch of food. Now it's like $100 for like every time I do a grocery shop, like go grocery shopping. I'm not buying anything crazy. It's like milk, eggs, chips once in a while, yerba mates, fruit, fresh fruit, veggies. I don't even eat that much protein, which protein is really expensive. I just like my vegetables. I don't know why, but yeah. So groceries expensive. I'm at a gas station right now, like literally just in a gas station parking lot, and I paid $4.37 per gallon. And I drive a lot. I partly live in this car, so I probably spend like, I don't know, 8 to like 5 every single day in this car. I nap in here, and I like it that way. It's quite easy. I work at a coffee shop all day. I film my videos here. That's why I have these props. If I ever really needed to, I would just sleep in here. Like if like I say I didn't have a home to live in. And honestly, now I was actually in an Uber. Like I was going to Florida, and I was chatting with my Uber driver, and he was telling me a story about like some of his friends nowadays. What they do is actually they live in their car, because no one really cares in California. You can literally just park your car by the side of the road and pop up a tent. Throw like a rug outside. There's like they have like generators in the car. They'll have heating, like personal heating spaces, and like a really nice like air mattress, something like light. And now you have pretty much a free space to live. And instead of paying, I don't know, $2,600 every single month for 12 months in San Diego, California, you can live for free. And just the fact that stuff has been like invented just shows me like the state of like how people are feeling here. And again, that's like not even a common thing. Like you see it like quite often. Like these parking lots are full, and you see people's cars full of stuff, and you can tell that they're living in their cars, probably happily. Like I would say that you get used to most things. And again, this doesn't really bother me. I own 16 homes, and I'm bringing at least like $30,000 in every single month for my Airbnbs. And I'm not going to talk about like Airbnbs and real Airbnb business in this video. It's really boring. No one seems to like it. But if you want to watch it, it's in the description below about how I do that and how I help like other people who have gotten to the stage of saving up some money buy their first Airbnb. But yeah, it's tough. $170,000 not enough. And then imagine again, you have those 2 kids every year. They cost about $20,000 a piece to actually take care of. And imagine if you need like babysitting or someone to like watch over your kids. Or God forbid, like they get sick and they have to go to the hospital, and your insurance doesn't cover enough. Your only alternative now is like if you didn't like have the money or like the budget to save, You probably have to start like a GoFundMe, which is very common nowadays. GoFundMe's are like a really safe place for our community and like other humans to like give back to each other. But is that like the life you want to live? Is like to depend on GoFundMe's to plan for emergencies? It's just not for me. Like even at $170,000 after like all my expenses, my Medicare, Social Security, taxes, investing my 401k, I was left with less than $100,000. And if I want to have two kids, which I personally have always imagined myself being a dad and a really good dad, being there as much as I can for my kids, hopefully giving them more than I was given when I was younger. And that's just what I want personally. I know nothing against other people who don't want that for their kids, but for me, that's just what I dreamt of. And for me, it's going to cost $20,000 a piece per child, if not more, to be honest, to do what I want to do with them. I want to take them on vacations. When we were young, my parents were able to take us on this really cool road trip around America from like California to Florida to New York, and then back to California for a few months. And that's like one of the most memorable things to me. And it really opened up my eyes, and I think it really shaped who I was. Like being flexible to living everywhere, understanding that other people's cultures, knowing that like nothing is as bad as it seems. Like, yeah, I could lose my job, and everything could go to nothing. But as long as I'm alive, I can always rebuild. I can move to more affordable states. I can build a business there. I could use my skills as a doctor. I could use my skills as a real estate investor to make more money. So it's not the end of the world. The world is so large. You have so many options. So if you're like 170 and you're feeling tired from it and you're miserable, which I know a lot of my friends are, so that's who I'm making this video for. And if you think 170 is enough, and like whoever's complaining about it, I mean, you can just click away now. I really don't care. But there are people out there who are struggling, who are higher income, and they want to have a family. They want to live in San Diego, and they don't want to move. They want to stay here. It's their home. And that's up to them. Like they're choosing to fight that battle, and I'm here to help them fight that battle, and to kind of share my story about why I did what I did with the Airbnb business, and why I'm still like worried about like losing my job, even though I don't even need it financially. I make 3 to 4 times more, and my business is growing much faster. But there's always going to be that doubt, and there's going to be your community of people who are always going to tell you, no, you're not going to do it. It's a bad idea, which I heard all of this. Everyone said, oh, you need a backup plan. Be careful, like don't let everything go. And it's true in some sense, but also if like you never commit to anything bigger, it's gonna be a much longer road for you to become successful, because there's so many times where like I could have technically just burned the boats and just ripped off the band-aid, and not a necessity. I just created so much more time for me to succeed, first of all, and I basically would have nothing to turn back to. It's like if I burned my boats with my $170,000 income salary like a long time ago, I'd probably be much further than I am, versus trying to do it all, which was like hire a COO, buy more rentals, do social media, work 40 hours a week, be married, so yeah, it's tough. And I know it takes a toll on your life, and things fall through the cracks, and you're going to have to start making some sacrifices. Things I don't think you should sacrifice are your kids and your family. I don't think you should sacrifice, like your mental health, your body. I don't think you should like get diseases over like this, like you're not gaining weight. I don't think you should like give up everything for money. Although like overall, this is about like your finances and making sure you become free faster. There are certain things you need to put boundaries on. And if you have to sacrifice 40 hours every single week just to make 170, which for me, people have been telling me 170 is high for pharmacists. I didn't even realize that. But I was a pharmacy manager again. But if you make less than that, you're running into the same problems that I am. Like you just don't have enough for a home. Say you want to buy a house in San Diego. You know how it is already looking for. Like the most affordable thing you can afford is like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo apartment for like $450,000, $500,000. And your mortgage payment's still going to be like $3,000. And say you want to have kids in a family. You're going to shove, I don't know, 3 or 5 kids in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo? I don't think so. So what are you going to do? You either need to move out to someplace more affordable, or you need to increase your income, or you're going to start owning assets like these San Diego condos, like hopefully appreciate in value if they do. Lately, I've been seeing San Diego's like appreciation's not even as good as places out of state. So why would you even like bet on investing here besides wanting to live here? Like I like living here. I think the weather's awesome. I just don't like the $4.37 I just paid for gas for a gallon. Again, I'm spending so much on gas. And again, just to kind of start accumulating like what we talked about, gas 10,000. Like I spend $60 per pump. I pump 4 times per month. That's $200. $200 times 12. Again, it's almost $2,000 to $3,000. 2 kids, that's $40,000. You're eating out expense, another $10,000. That's like $64,000, $63,000 already. Say you want to invest some more, or you want to buy a house. So if you buy a house, good luck. Your mortgage payment is going to be probably at the lowest is like $3,000 here. So 3,000 times 12 is $36,000. That's pretty much almost all your budget. So you can't even really go on vacation. Hard to put more than just like 6% match into your 401k. And things are tough. Again, like if you're making $170,000, you have student loans, add student loans to that. You want to go on vacation. Any extracurriculars, if you want to buy some time back, you want to learn a new hobby, you're not going to have the time and money because you need to be at work to continue to make that $170,000 all the time. And the solution, again, is just to buy more assets. You need to have some sort of plan to make sure it works for you. And I feel for you guys, like especially healthcare workers. We have like some of the highest burnout rates. I think I read on, it was like such a shameful thing to like see, was like top 10 most miserable careers are some of the people I work with is like pharmacy technicians. I love my technicians so much, like some of my greatest friends, and like to see that it's one of the least paid and a lot of people are unhappy with it is like really saddening to me. And you look at your pharmacists too, like we thankfully get paid much more than our farm techs after a bunch of schooling and a bunch of debt, so we take on a lot of problems too. So we don't think it's super easy, but we have our own issues. So we get paid more, but we also have that crazy debt, which is really hard to escape. Now it's even more of a trap. Like at least my techs, they can like leave and upgrade their lifestyles if they really want to something different. But I wish like being healthcare worker, someone who like does such important work would be more respected and more highly paid. Like they deserve it so much more than a lot of other professions that I'm not gonna say, but I think it's a very respectable job, and I think they deserve to be paid way more. And I hope that like it gets much better. But yeah, 170 in California, tough. I hope you've been saving if you live here, or if you want to like retire one day, or if you hopefully learn that you don't have to trade 40 hours every single week to make a pharmacist salary. You can start an Airbnb business. You can buy a bunch of index funds and invest for 15 years as long as you're relatively frugal and you have the patience to do so. You can start some sort of tech company. You can like start to buy bonds, or even though I don't really like bonds as an investment, if you're patient, or if your income's high enough, if it's higher than mine, higher than 170, good for you. You can probably invest in index funds and then retire fast to me as long as your expenses are much less. Most people don't need $300,000 every single year to live on. They're usually okay with like, from what I've like chatted with my friends about, like $6,000 to like $12,000 every single month. That would make them very happy already. So there's no reason for anyone to like aim as high as I am. I'm partly doing it just because it feels like a game, and I love video games. If you guys know me, I've played like League of Legends, Diablo 1, 2, 3, 4, not the newest one yet. Bunch of MMORPGs, Silk Road, StarCraft, and like for me, like all of it ends up feeling like a game, and your bank account ends up looking like the gold you earn from your game. You sell stuff at the end of the day. Like as a pharmacist, I sold drugs for my company, and it made them a bunch of money. And then using that money, they hired me. They paid me $170,000, and they hired more pharmacists. And as long as I'm producing $1 million for them, or whatever it is that I was producing for them, they can afford to pay me, not do the work, and collect the difference. And that's how this game is made. And that's how you get out of it. So if you're stuck in there, you don't see a way out, just think about the video games maybe you played a long time ago. Game theory is honestly real. $170,000 is enough based off like the groceries, buying a home, rent, having kids, vacation, eating out, and just honestly wanting to be middle class. You don't like the upper middle class is 170,000. Honestly, don't feel like it is honestly in San Diego. Here I am again, like I can't even afford an office. I mean, I technically I can, but I really don't want to because I just don't see as like as much as I would love it. I just feel like it would slow everything I'm building right now, and I just can't justify it yet. And maybe if I made $50,000, then I could justify like, hey, I could pay for parking, in California because all of the offices I want to be at so far are pretty affordable. But I can't afford like a $10,000 office. I can do like a WeWork a place, but it's so freaking loud. I can't film. There's distractions. There's people. I can get like the individual ones, which are even more expensive. But at the end of the day, at the bottom line, it doesn't really help me adding more money. I'm not selling more because I got a WeWork office. This could be my office still. It would be more honestly of just like the convenience of it, where this is already for me relatively convenient. So yeah. Bye guys.